Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be sharing my own personal opinion or take or thought process about hiring in organizations. I if you're a leader, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're starting a brand, if you already own a brand, if you have a say in policy making in your brand, and if you're interested in your organization growing, even if you're somebody who's just worried about the bottom line, this what I'm going to share with you is very very important. Now, I believe you can be a grade organization with D grade employees and you will just go downhill. Hear that again. You can be an A grade organization with D grade employees who will just pull you down. And when I had this little say or this little authority in some of the hospitals that I worked, I introduced something called right man for the right job concept. Even though I'm not like a qualified HR, I did learn this from my father, so I would like to dedicate this video to him, who taught me everyday life skills, who did not even make me and my brother realize that we were becoming decision makers and we were becoming leaders and we were able to hold our own and stand by our decisions even if the result of that decision making wasn't that great, and we were able to accept our faults at times. Those are all qualities that I have got from my father. I have learned from him not by lecturing me or preaching me, but by setting examples for us, both by his own conduct of the way he lived and not just as an army man, most importantly, his personal character, his personal strength, his personal magnanimity, his generosity, his fierceness when it comes to loyalty, his passion for the truth, his gumption for standing up and always standing and supporting his his subordinates rather than just his seniors or people he reported to. All of that slowly over the years has seeped into me and my brother, I'm hoping, and now into my lovely nephews. So yes, so whatever I say in terms of leadership and life skills, I dedicate to my dad. So this is one lesson that that I learned probably over the years. It was not taught to me like this, right man for the right job, but so I introduced this in the hospitals where I worked. For each category of people, even for housekeeping staff, I prepared questionnaires judging if it's the right person for the right job. According to me, housekeeping can make or break an organization, especially in the hospitality or the hospital industry. So for nursing, I kind of, prepared this questionnaire where obviously the nursing head of the hospital would take a technical interview, basic skills, nursing certification, knowledge, this, that. And the head of HR or, people skills would take another interview, and that would be the deciding interview for hiring. At that point in time, the chairman of the institute supported me, and I'm indebted to him that he even allowed me to draft these documents. But I came up with questions which other colleagues of mine kind of laughed at and were like, "Ye kya hai?" So I wrote things like, for the nurses, I wrote things like, "What was your relationship like with your grandparents? Has anybody in your family suffered a chronic disease, and have you been in and out of a hospital? If you had a newlywed bride and an old 90-year-old man and an infant baby, all asking for your attention at the same time, crying, who are you going to attend to first and why?" And people were like, "What do these questions have to do with the nurse? Like, we need to just see if she can give a pill or not, if she can read a prescription or not, if she can give an injection or not, if she can put an IV intravenous drip or not." I said, "Of course, no nurse will come to a hospital with the certificate of being a florist, right? I mean, she will obviously be shortlisted because she has some minimum technical requirement that she is meeting to be hired. So that's already done. What is the difference? What experience do I want to give to my patients? That is what is also a marketing strategy for my hospital, isn't it? So I want a nurse who has compassion, who had a beautiful relationship with her grandparents, who tells me something like, "My grandmother was always sick and I used to sleep in her room. I used to get up in the night. I used to give her a glass of water. I used to hold her hand and take her to the washroom. Uh, or I had a baby brother who I'm very close to and I literally brought him up, or I feed dogs in my society." So I am looking for compassion in my nurse more than anything. I'm looking for an attitude of service. No matter how good she is technically, if she's arrogant, if she's rude to my patients, she doesn't bring anything to my hospital, right? So obviously, at that point in time, I was really young. I stood by my, hiring documentation. I kind of pushed it in the organization. I hope they're still following it. But today, and I do this every Sunday morning where I read about any of the greats, whoever. You can pick a sports person, you can pick Mandela, you can pick up Lal Bahadur Shastri, you can pick up Madame Curie, which is also my nickname. You can pick up anybody who you feel has contributed in greatness. It could be in any field, and just read 5, 7, 10 minutes about them. So today I happen to be reading a eulogy written by Steve Jobs' sister for him. Beautiful, and there are some 3, 4 lessons I learned out of the eulogy itself, which I'll share eventually with you. But today it reaffirmed that little baby policy that I made or tried to make or introduce in the hospitals about right man for the right job, where she says something, and I'm quoting and reading from the eulogy published in the New York Times, where she says, even ill, his taste, his discrimination, and his judgment held. That's the mark of a leader, of greatness, of a legend. He went through 67 nurses before finding kindred spirits, and then he completely trusted the 3 who stayed with him to the end. She's gone obviously to mention the names: Tracy, Arturo, and Elham. Thank you to those nursing staff, obviously. I will read this again. He went through 67 nurses before finding kindred spirits. Then he completely trusted. So, yes, I am sure 67 nurses that were shortlisted to be helping Steve with his very grave illness must have been very highly qualified. They must have come from the best training institutes with the best experience, from the best hospital with the best recommendations. But he chose 3 kindred spirits because that is all that matters to a patient. So if you, as a hiring manager, as a policy maker, as a leader of your organization, as a culture maker of your organization, where you're making a culture in a brand, not just sales and sales and sales, are able to understand that even to drive the sales, even to drive the bottom line, as they say in business, you need to be hiring the right person for the right job. And this is my little sharing with you, um, as um, as somebody who has been a part of startups and now I'm an entrepreneur myself, that your organization will be as good as bad as the people you hire. And don't run away from the hiring process of housekeeping, security staff. These are the people, your guests, your clients, if it's a hospital, your patients, if it's a spa, your guests are going to be dealing with day in and day out. They can make or break your organization. So I am kind of very humbled reading this eulogy. It is so beautiful, but more importantly, I am also very, very happy today that yes, I have these beliefs and ideas about how to be a leader and how to lead and how to contribute and what decisions to make. And some of them keep getting questioned a lot. In fact, all of them keep getting questioned at the time that I take those decisions. But today, when I realize that somebody like Steve Jobs did the same thing, I have more faith in me. I'm willing to put all my buck on me. I'm willing to bet on me. I like this horse called Navya. So, yes, have faith in you. Don't be afraid of introducing new concepts in your organizations, and hire the right person for the right job, and hopefully you'll be a success. Thank you. Bye bye.